So today the topics that we will be covering is, like, we will be starting off with the modern ABAP new syntaxes, wherein we will be dealing with the inline declarations which became applicable as a part of NetWeaver application server ABAP 7.4 and above. Then making use of the CONV operator, which will be a very handy operator while trying to convert from one data type to other data type. And also the other constructor operators such as new, where you can easily create the instance of a class rather than writing type reference to the class name, then create object. Rather than doing all those things, you can just in one line you can create an instance of a class. And also by using the pipe operator, how to handle concatenation, which you used to do earlier via using the concatenate statement. Apart from that, we will also continue exploring the various tips and tricks while working with Eclipse, and important point, how to debug in Eclipse ADT and also set the breakpoint and watch point and inspect variables, inspect internal tables, how the internal table console looks like. Everything we will be understanding today. Fine. So before we proceed, one quick question. So all of you who are present, I hope like the Eclipse ADT setup and all, everything is done, right? So all those things have been sorted out, right? And anyways, yesterday we understood in detail to set up Eclipse as well. Amol, Ankush, Madhu, Rajesh, Ratnakar, Venkat. The best part was that many people get stuck up, but that is the reason why we took up that point yesterday, to analyze and spend time as to how to set up the same. Perfect. So we are ready to go. So start with the inline declarations. Just a second. Venkat P, normally it should connect. In case if you're not able to connect, just check two things: if your internet connection is proper, and second, if the password which you are giving should be fine. In case if you're not able to connect, just hold on your query. Maybe after the session, either you can connect with our support team, or you can connect with any of the participants, as many of them have already done it. Fine, Venkat? Is it okay? Okay, fine. Okay. So inline declarations. So first of all, tell me one thing. Don't you think that data type declarations is the first thing that comes to your mind when you start off with ABAP coding? Yes or no, guys? Data type declaration is the first thing. Isn't it the first thing that comes to your mind when you start off with your ABAP coding? So mostly you would have seen that we always keep on declaring the variables at the start of the subroutine, function module, methods, reports, includes, and we also have a habit of writing a top include specifically to specify all the declarations at one place, right? Top include, our famous top include. So most of these program lines, if you see, a lot of lines are being invested, a lot of keyboard strokes are being invested for writing these data type declarations. But with ABAP 7.4 and above, these data type declarations can somewhat be avoided, not fully, but somewhat. And like I'll say, like 80 to 90% you can avoid them in most of the scenarios. So actually your ABAP code fully and it works out smoothly without these data type declarations. And here comes your savior as your inline declarations, which actually saves you from actually like writing a lot of lines for doing all these data type declarations. So what the benefit that you get is that actually inline declarations basically makes our code base smaller, right? So when I talk about inline declarations, basically it makes our code base smaller, and second is that it becomes also very easy to understand when your local variables are embedded in the given context. So when I talk about inline declaration, it makes your code base smaller and easier to understand, and also the beauty of that is that instead of declaring the like what do you say, instead of declaring them separately at the beginning, we can declare the local variables embedded in the given context. Can I say like this, yes or no? What do you say? I can say like this, right? So it basically makes your code base smaller. It also makes it easier to understand. So I'll remove this comma from here. And instead of declaring them separately at the beginning, we can declare the local variables embedded in the given context. So let me just let me highlight it. Okay, so let's start off with the coding rather than understanding only theoretical, because let's move on to the practical aspects. Okay, so so see, as on and when we do the coding today, I'll also show you the tips and tricks that which I was talking about. So if you see, when I type about data, can you see the auto completion feature? So this is one beautiful auto completion feature actually which you will start getting with Eclipse, but now the same has been embedded in your SAP GUI also, like with the upcoming NetWeaver versions. So lvvar, make it string, and after declaring, what we used to do, so suppose lvvar equals to zapyard. Okay, now what you can do is, instead of doing like this, you don't need to do it like this. And how to comment the same? How do you comment a piece of lines of code in Eclipse? Suppose if I want to comment the same, how do you comment the same? Anyone? How do you comment the same? Anyone? Venkat, Madhu, Rutuja, Rajesh? Anyone? How to comment pieces, lines of code? No one. Okay, one is control and less than sign. Anything else? So I'll tell you the other one, control and 7. See this. Control and 7 is the other shortcut. Control plus 7, as well as you can use. So control plus 7 can be used for both commenting and uncommenting, and the other one which you people have pinged is the one for commenting. So this is for commenting, and for uncommenting, this is the one for uncommenting. Got the point? Madhu, see, when we are commenting, it's control and less than sign. Less than sign, how does it come? It comes with a comma, because less than sign is above your comma on your keyboard stroke, right? So that is the reason why you are using shift. So if you can either say control, shift and comma, or you can say control and less than sign. Got the point? Okay, so now how do you do it? So data lv underscore var. Okay, see, the best part of it, half of your coding reduces because you do not even have to write the full sentence and it gets completed. Okay, now tell me one thing. Always remember that when you are doing an inline declaration after the keyword data, you should not give any space, and even within the parentheses also you should not give any space. And always remember this, because apart from this, whatever operator you use, you need to give a space in between the parentheses. This is a very big difference. Always remember. Okay, now this was point number 1. This was like the basic inline declaration. Okay, now what you used to do, suppose I have to pull data from a database table into an internal table, the first 10 records, then I want to loop them, or I want to read the first record. So what do we used to do? Suppose I want to pull the data from EKPO table. Okay, so data lt underscore EKPO, type standard table of, so see like this, I am not writing anything, just like alt, so control and space. So see, one more feature is that I was talking about code completion assist, right? So if you do, wherever your like cursor is there, if you press control and space, you will be getting the assist feature out of it. Getting the point? So here, see like this, if you do control and space, type standard table of, so you get your assist feature also. Your coding has become so much easier. Data LT underscore EKPO, type standard table of EKPO. Okay. After that, ls underscore EKPO, the work area, type EKPO. Okay. Then one more thing, suppose field symbols. I want to derive a field symbol also. Earlier, what we used to do? We used to give field symbols, right? So field symbols, then fs underscore EKPO, type EKPO. Now, what I want to do is I want to fetch the first and records from EKPO table into LT underscore EKPO internal table. So this is my requirement. So select asterisk from EKPO up to 10 rows into table LT underscore EKPO. Okay, and then loop at LT underscore. So even if you would have given some variable, if you do control space, it will also assist in deriving those as well. That is one more beauty part of it. So loop at LT underscore EKPO into ls underscore EKPO and end loop and done. See how easy it becomes. And suppose if I want to read the table, so read table LT underscore EKPO, control space, you get your LT underscore EKPO code completion. And after that, I want to read the first line item, right? So read LT underscore EKPO, then assigning the field symbol. 1 second. Yeah, so assigning, so field symbol I have already given. So fs underscore EKPO, suppose index 1. Right? This is how we used to do it, right? And what about pretty printer? What about pretty printer in Eclipse? What about pretty printer in Eclipse? What about pretty printer in Eclipse? Anyone? What about pretty printer in Eclipse? Anyone? Anyone, guys? I'm waiting. Anyone? Control P, Ratnakar. Control P. Will it work? Control P, Ratnakar. Anything else? Control P is for printing, Ratnakar. Pretty printer. Shift and F11, guys, you forgot it. Shift and F1. Shift and F1. Shift and F1. Okay, one more question. Let me unmute. Can you please unmute yourself, Rujuta?
Yes, hi. Good morning.
Okay, Rujuta, simple question. So I did shift and F1 for pretty printer, okay, right? How, like, is it a surety that it will always work, or something I need to do for making it work?
Settings.
So where do I do that?
Here, I don't know.
Can you recall it? Yesterday we covered that, right? Remember, system, alt and enter, we go to the properties. Once you go to the properties, ABAP development, editor, source code editor, ABAP formatter, and once you go to ABAP formatter, indent lines, remember, right? So this is the beauty of our training. We will try to relate each and everything so that you don't just understand, you become master in something. Now you will recall it, right, Rujuta? I hope you will not forget it now.
Yeah, now I'll remember. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Remember, guys, it is shift and F1. Guys, remember, it is shift and F1. Also, one more point, like when we gave the notes yesterday, did any one of you go through and did you see that I have provided something additional also? Has anyone gone through the notes and tried to see that I have provided some additional shortcuts also? Did anyone go through the notes? Or you people haven't gone through the notes? So Rajesh, did you understand I have provided some additional information also? Rajesh, did you check that the additional information which I have given? Okay, thank you. So my funda is that sometimes I may be providing some additional information because we may miss on something, because we may sometimes exceed 2 hours, 15 minutes or 2.5 hours. So that is the reason. Please carefully go through the notes. Don't take it for a chance that whatever I have covered in the video only that will be given. It's not like that. Sometimes I may be providing some additional content as well for your betterment, for your learning. Okay, fine. So now, if I don't want to do all these things, so how many lines of code am I writing? 4 lines, 3 lines for declaration, and then all these things, right? So what do we do is that I don't want to do all these things, right? I don't want to do all these things. So I comment out everything. So as I told, for commenting Control and 7, I will keep on recalling until unless it sets on your mind that what are the shortcuts, how do you actually get used to it, don't worry. So now how do I write the code? Select asterisk from EKPO, right? Now up to 10 rows into table. Now comes @ data inline declaration. Okay, and also one more thing, I am using @ as well here. Okay, so I'll just come back to that point in a minute. So @LT_EKPO, automatically it will come down and then put a period to end the sentence. Then loop at LT_EKPO, and the beauty of it, will you see now, if you do LT and just if you do control space, no, like this LT_EKPO, what you would have given, you will get that as well. That is the beauty part of it. So loop at LT_EKPO, and if you see, if I put on your cursor and if you put your cursor here, you will see automatically, can you see LT_EKPO type standard table of EKPO? Have I given this statement? No, right? So see, the beauty part of it is not just to write the code, to understand how the system is also doing it. See, LT_EKPO, it automatically derives by itself. It is type standard table of EKPO, which I was actually giving it here, right? So the difference lies is that the system is actually doing it for you. So basically now we are, the task that we were doing earlier, now we are leaving it up to the compiler to do that for us and to make it understand what is the data object that you need, right? Yes or no? So loop at LT_EKPO into data. Here I will not use any @ symbol, because while I am trying to pull the data from the database onto the application server, so in the select query we need to make it understand which is the piece of variable that is at the application server and not at the database server. So escape host sequence character, which is your @ basically helps you to distinguish the same. So loop at and end loop. So loop at LT_EKPO into data LS_EKPO. Now if I want to read table, so read table LT_EKPO, then assigning field symbol. Here only we need to mention, and here we will give whatever field symbol you want to give. So suppose FS_EKPO, and after that index 1, done. So see, I just wrote the lines enough. So here only I declared internal table, here only I declared work area, and here only I declared field symbol, right? It's not like that you will always end up writing using a work area only. Here also loop at LT_EKPO assigning field symbol. Depends, if you want to modify something, you can proceed with the same concept like this here also. So it really becomes beneficial. Okay, now coming to the debugging aspect of it. Okay, so let me activate the code. So your activation, save and check remains the same. Control S, Control F2, Control F3. So I'll do Control F3. Once I do Control F3, you will see a very beautiful thing. The report got activated and also everything. In case if you don't remember the shortcut here, if you see the activate function is there. Okay, one more thing I'll show you. Can I work on this report in 2 instances at one time? Anand, I will come to it, don't worry. When we go to the debugger, I will come to it. Hold on your query, Anand. So my question is, can I work on two instances of the same report? Let me minimize this. Can I work on two instances of the same report? Is it possible, guys? Is it possible? Can I work on two instances of the same report? Anand, Rujuta, Rajesh, Venkat, anyone? No? You people say no. And if I say yes, and if I do it, go to window, go to editor and clone it. And if I clone it, and now see the magic, now see the magic, now see the magic. Okay. Now, just for fun, I will declare one more variable. Okay. I will declare one more variable just for fun. So data lv underscore var1 type, suppose I give the type as anything, suppose char, and any type I want to give, suppose I'll give any type as char 10, suppose. Okay, fine. Now I activate this code. Okay, now one more hint, there are so many ABAP source code editor open. How do I navigate? How do I navigate? How do I navigate to the another instance of this ZABAP modern report? Control and E. Can you see here? Go there. ZABAP E. Control and E. Can you see here? Go there. So can you see two instances I have opened? Do you see any kind of change? Two instances I have opened. Do you see any kind of change? Two instances I have opened. Do you see any kind of change? And now, guys, the question that I asked: can I work on the same method program or same any object, two instances of the same? Now the answer is yes, and whatever changes you do in any of the one, the other also gets reflected, right? It's a cloning. It's a cloning feature which you really get out of it. And the beauty of it is that, are you facing any kind of lock? Are you facing any kind of lock issue? Because if in SAP you go and try, it will say that it is already locked, right? So Kiran, it's just a feature which I am showing. It's up to you whether you want to use or not. It's just a feature. Got the point, Kiran? Obviously, it will not work on two instances, but it's a feature which you want to understand, which I'm actually showing you that you can understand. Okay, now I'll just control an F3, I'll activate it. Anyways, I'll close it. So see, one more shortcut actually which I showed you is that it is easy to navigate like this, rather than going here, because if you have opened 20-25 sessions from here, yes, Ratnakar, sometimes it really comes to use. Sometimes what happens, like, it depends on you. Sometimes you want to clone it and just have a fun and play around just for entertainment purpose, Ratnakar. See, suppose you want to do something fun or funny out of it, and you just clone it and just play around. It's up to you how you want to make use of it, right, Ratnakar? Everything cannot have a practical aspect, right? So in that way you can play around with it. Okay, now one more important thing actually which I was showing you is that, now suppose if you would have opened 20-25 sessions, how can you do it with two different users, Anupam? This is your user ID, this is your project. With your user ID you would have logged in. If you want to log in with another user ID, that also you can do. But then when you will try to open this report, see here at the top, can you see program ZMM report S20 active S4HANA 1809? So here you will obviously go and click on that other project to log into that. Got the point, Anupam? Understood the point, Anupam? Okay, now now that I have activated, now let us understand. Now we need to understand how to actually debug the same. So for debugging in Eclipse, it's very simple. On the left hand side here, you just need to double click on the same. Okay, here you will see a dot here. Here you will see a dot here. Basically this actually resembles that you have put a breakpoint, or you right click on the same here on the left hand side, and here if you see the breakpoint properties, the debug properties, here this is the toggle breakpoint, here this is the soft breakpoint. Rather than remembering the shortcut, it's very easy to double click and you place a breakpoint, or if you just double click again, it will be disabled. So here if you see, it will be disabled. Here if you double click, it will be enabled. Okay, now suppose if you want to debug not for your user ID but for some other's user ID, how do you do it? Go to the debug properties, and if you see here in the debug properties, can you see this option as user? So in the user, you need to specify the other user ID and just apply and then close it. That's it. Nothing else you need to do. You just go to user, specify anyone else's user ID, and it will be done. In that way, you can go for the external debugging with respect to any other user ID. Okay, now that you have put a breakpoint here, and now that we want to actually debug the same, right? Okay, let me also specify just to stop it from debugger perspective. Madhu, I did not get your question. What is the shortcut to see all the sessions? Okay, Control and E. I'll specify it here, don't worry. All the shortcuts you will be getting it, don't worry. So Control and E is the shortcut. So Control and E is very handy, as I told you. Suppose if you would have opened 20 sessions, it becomes very easy to navigate from here and open anything. Suppose if I want to go to, like example, the function module like this. So go like this, Control and E again. If you want to go back to the report, you can go like this. It's very simple. Now let me execute the debugger. So if you see, I've just showed you how to put a breakpoint, and now once that if you want to execute the debugger, just do F8. And the important aspect is that when you execute this report or execute anything, and if you have placed a breakpoint, the beauty aspect that you will understand is that another perspective will open for you, which is the debug perspective, which I showed you yesterday, wherein you can actually debug the same. So if you focus here, till now we are on ABAP perspective, right? Till now we are on ABAP perspective, right? Now see, it will ask that if you want to switch to the debug perspective. If I suspend it, then you will not be able to debug. Debug perspective, you need to switch to debug the same. And once I switch to the debug perspective, can you see here it has been connected to the debugger? And on the left side, you will be able to see the stack. I don't need it now. I'll minimize it. And here, if you see, these are the variables which, if you double click, you will be able to see. Now Anand, you were asking what is the type, right? So if I mention within this quotes, that is single quotes as of now, you will see that the type by default will be char type. Can you see the technical type? It will be C. And regarding the length will be automatically specified. The compiler will do it for you. You don't need to bother about. Okay. Now select asterisk from EKPO 10 rows into table LT underscore EKPO. Do F5, F6, F7, F8 as you used to do. If you do F5, can you see LT underscore EKPO? This is the ABAP internal table debugger. So if you see here, if I just pull it up, you will be able to see the ABAP internal table debugger wherein you can see the data. So LT EKPO Evelyn, if you do it like this, so here it will not work because here it will show only the internal table data only. So LT EKPO, all the table data you will be able to see here. Now if you double click on anything on here if you just put the cursor also, here you will be able to see the value, and here you will be able to see the actual type and the length. Okay. And LV underscore var, one more thing, if you want to change the value, you can change the value here as well. Just if you put it like this, the value can be changed. Okay. Now one more thing, like loop at LT EKPO into LS underscore EKPO. If you see here LS EKPO is the all the variables that you will get here. Like, and if you double click on anything, you will get the values here as well. Okay. Now similarly, anything you click on, you will get all the values. So this is your debugger perspective. Here is your all the internal table data. Here are your all the variables. Now if you see here, suppose I have specified the breakpoint here, right? Now I want to specify the breakpoint here on the read table. One way is that you can put a breakpoint here and specify a breakpoint, right? How we used to do in SAP GUI also, double click and put a breakpoint here. Another way is if you click on go to the breakpoints, here this point, add breakpoint, click on add statement breakpoint, and here search for read table. Here search for read internal table. If you search for read internal table, all the internal table specified related statements, it will put breakpoint for all the statements as such. And in the entire global stack, it will actually put, so see here, effective within the running debugger. So it is effective only within the running debugger. Once this debugger will be closed, this breakpoint will not be valid anymore. So see here, I was within this loop, right? Now if I do F8, okay, now if I do F8, can you see automatically the current instruction pointer as in the debugger, where does it triggers to? The statement that I have specified here. The read internal table which has statement as in the breakpoint which I specified here as an add statement breakpoint, it gets triggered here. And once I do F8, this statement breakpoint as well as the debugger which I specified, everything will be gone. So if I do F8 and you will come, so external breakpoints loaded, debugging deactivated. Now you need to come back to your ABAP perspective, and if you come back to your ABAP perspective, and it is done. Any doubts, guys? How to put the breakpoint? How to put statement breakpoint? Now coming to the point, how to put watch point, right? Now coming to the point, how to put watch point. So if you see here, again I'll do F8. So you don't need to do anything, automatically it will do. Now switch on to the debugger perspective. So if I restore it and if I minimize it, now if you see here, I will remove this. I don't need this, okay? I don't need this, okay? And also if you want to remove, just right click and you can remove anything as such. Now for setting the watch point, so suppose mostly we set the watch point in loops and all, right? Right, Rajesh? Mostly we set the watch point in loops and all, right? Because in loops, who is going to like continuously monitor the loops if you have 1,000 records, 20,000 records and all, right? Now, how do you set a watch point is that once you reach to this loop statement, just you put your cursor here, okay? Once you have put your cursor here, right click on the same, a context menu will open. Once a context menu will open, scroll up and you see set a watch point. If you set a watch point like this, watch point will be automatically created for this variable. Okay, fine, done. And if you expand this, a recent value and a current value. So if I just drag it to the left side and if I do it, recent value and a current value. Now how do I set the watch point for the same? Go to the breakpoint section, go to this part and specify a value. So suppose ls_ekpo, okay, and so now I want to specify for any value. So suppose any value I specify, so I will specify any value, suppose 45006, like the purchase order number which I've specified. I think that this is the purchase order number where it is actually dumping or something, or I'm getting an issue. So I am putting a condition here. Once you put a condition, don't just debug like this. Click on Control and space so that the breakpoint is saved with this condition particular value. Okay, fine. Now if you see here, just focus here. I'll expand this and now you click on F8 and now you will see a change with a new icon coming up. Watch point has been set and you will be able to see the recent value and the current value, as in just before the watch point what was the value and when the watch point reached what was the current value. Isn't it a beautiful aspect, Rajesh? Can you see how it is easy? Just set the watch point and done. Okay, one more way to set a watch point is, you can also right click on the same here and set a watch point like this also here. What you are doing from here, the same you can do from there as well. Guys, is it clear how to set a watch point, how to understand whether the watch point has been reached, how to set a condition for the same, and also remember, click on Control and Save to save the same. Got the point? Amol, how to do update or system debugging? You need to do through debug properties. I haven't explored that. You can try through debug properties. But normally we have to see how to explore that, because normally I did not get any option to do that. I tried to find it out, but I didn't get any option to change it to, like, for the update debugging, how to enable that property. Okay, here Update debugging. Thanks for asking that question. I got the answer also now. Amol, try this option. Update debugging. Okay. So you guys, now you understood. So Rujuta, if you want to set for any statement, any free statement, if you want to set for any free statement, can you see here expressions? Rujuta, can you see here expressions? Add any new expression in your specify, or as I showed you, for any statement breakpoint, your savior is here. Add any exception breakpoint, specify an exception. Add any statement breakpoint, go here. All the statements are available. Whatever you want to do, you want to set an exception on a call function, set a breakpoint on a call function. You want to set a breakpoint on a message. You want to set a breakpoint on a class. You want to set a breakpoint on an include. You want to set a not an include. You want to set a breakpoint on a subroutine. Anything that you want to do. So suppose see here, perform. Any perform statement starting with perform, the breakpoint will be set. You want to set a breakpoint on a call function module, call body, anything, call function in the update task. See here, call function in the update task. Someone was asking me, right? I think Amol, call function in update task, call function in background task, anything, call screen, call transaction, anything. It's just such a beauty. Call customer function, customer exits. Anything that you want to do, you put a breakpoint and your job is done. Got the point, Rujuta? Understood? And anytime, anyways, you want to come out of it, just click here and you come out. So Madhu, what should I repeat? Which part are you stuck up? Madhu, which part are you stuck up? Okay, the latest one, fine. Just click on F8, your breakpoint is already set. Once your breakpoint is already set, remember my action so that this pop-up doesn't trouble you again and again. This troublesome pop-up should be got ridden off. And the last part, which actually when Rijuta asked, is your flexibility that you get here is that you can easily specify any kind of breakpoint that you want to do. Suppose for a subroutine that you want to specify a breakpoint, all the subroutines, all the breakpoints will be set automatically within the debugger if you just select this. Unselect this, remove this, and it will be gone. Or if you disable the same, it will be gone. So any statement breakpoint for a call function or a call body or a class, anything that you want to do on a if condition. So just click on if condition, all the if conditions, the breakpoint will be set. So it becomes very flexible to set any breakpoint with this. Understood, Madhu? Is it clear? So actually we are basically, this is called a soft breakpoint. So if anyone asks you what is a soft breakpoint, so you can easily say that a soft breakpoint is a breakpoint which is actually effective within a running debugger session, and you can specify as a kind of a statement breakpoint for any kind of statement action that you want to take or any kind of exception also that you want to trigger. And once your current debugger perspective will be gone, the statement breakpoints will also not be applicable anymore until and unless you trigger your breakpoint again, right? So I hope now you are getting much and much more beauty about the Eclipse and how to get mesmerized with this ADT perspective, as in the ABAP perspective. Okay. Yeah, Amol, 1 second. I'll explain it again, don't worry. So see, when I was, so how do you remove the breakpoint? Just double click on the same and the breakpoint will be disabled. So when I was talking about at the rate and data, if you see here, when you are using inline declaration with a select query, you are trying to fetch the data from the database server to the application server. In the select query, basically this is at the database, right? Amol, yes or no? But LT_EKPO, is it at the database? No. This is at the application server which I am trying to create through the compiler runtime at the dynamically, right? So LT_EKPO is at the application server, this is at the database server, and even if I specify the components which I actually want to pick up from EKPO, so how do we differentiate? At the rate escape host sequence character basically helps you to differentiate what is at the application server and what is at the database. And Here when I'm using the same, I don't need to specify because this is completely at the application server, no database server. At the application server, no escape host sequence character is required. Is it clear now, Amol? And can I proceed forward? Okay. So now earlier data suppose LV underscore text, and also remember whatever we will understand in each and every day, every concept will be required in the next session. So do keep on revising the same, do keep on applying the same, do keep on understanding the practical aspects of the same. I always will keep on focusing on this one. So mail zapyard, okay, mail zapyard @gmail.com. Fine. Now earlier if I want to find @ in this text variable, what will I do? I will have to declare a helper variable, right? Yes or no? I will have to declare a helper variable, yes or no? So if I write find @ within quotes in this particular variable LV underscore text match count LV helper, right? So find @ in LV underscore text, okay, match count, and I will have to specify a LV helper variable, right? So I have to take the headache of declaring the same again, right? And if I don't do this, if I comment it out, and if I, okay, how do I copy a line here? How do I copy a line? In SAP GUI, how do you copy a line? Do you copy Control C and then again paste it? How do you copy a line? Control D in SAP GUI, right? But what about Eclipse? What about Eclipse? Control Alt and down arrow key. Control Alt and down arrow key. In case if you don't remember which shortcut is your savior, Rajesh, which shortcut is your savior, Rajesh, which shortcut is the savior, Prakash, which shortcut is the savior, Anupam? In case if I don't remember this shortcut, what is the shortcut for getting the shortcuts? Control and L, no Venkat, you are somewhat close but you missed something. Rajesh, no control, not control and D. Prakash, Anupam, yes Prakash, perfect, bang on. It's Control Shift and L. Guys, bhulne ka nahi, Control Shift and L. This will be your savior. See here. So copy lines, I was doing copy, right? I was using like copy a line, right? So Control Alt and down arrow key, you will find all the information here. Okay, so Control Alt and down arrow key, remember, I'll specify the same here. So Control Alt and this particular down arrow key, okay. Okay, so here I can write data and LV helper. Now Anand and everyone, now can you tell me what will be the data type which will be derived by the compiler? What will be the data type which will be derived by the compiler? Int or I? Predefined type, right? Yes. So I will use another variable here, var. So now if you see here, if I put a breakpoint here and if I just execute the same, and if you click here, just do F5, and if you just put your cursor here, okay, so if you see the value will be LV helper variable 1, and if you go to the variables and if you double click on the same, the variable will be type I. Okay, now one important thing is that if you see here in the debugger perspective, the F5, F6, F7, F8 and all that you used to do. So here also you can do step into, step over, step 7, jump into. So which we used to do shift and F12, right? The one which we used to do shift and F12, right? So here you can jump into through shift and F8. If you want to jump into any line, the one which you used to do, or in case if you want to terminate, if you terminate a session, the debugger will be terminated. So all the options are available on the top of your debug perspective. Okay. Now, okay, I have now now I have specified this. Okay, now tell me one thing. When I am using inline declaration, and suppose when you are using a subroutine, okay, when you are using a subroutine, okay, so can you use inline declaration when you are using a subroutine? So when you are calling a subroutine, you are using some variable inside the perform, okay, sorry, inside the form, and like in the perform, when you are calling the subroutine, you are using some variable. So can you use a inline declaration specified data type object there? Yes or no? Prakash, Rujuta, Anand, Kiran. Amol says yes. Anyone else has got any other answer? Kiran says yes. Can you read the statement of 9 clearly? What have I specified here? We can declare the local variables embedded in the given context only, right? So what you declare locally, can you use it throughout the program? Rujuta, Kiran. What I declare locally within a subroutine, can I use it throughout the program? Local variables embedded in the given context. Local variables embedded in the given context. Remember restriction number 1. When you are using inline declarations, always understand to make use of the same within or nearby that particular area or within that particular scope. Don't try to use it anywhere as you feel like, because it will not work. If you are given inline declaration within any include, and if you are trying to use that in another include, it will not work. If you have given inline declaration within a subroutine, if you are trying to use it within another subroutine, it will not work. So understand the local perspective aspect of it. A very big restriction. Okay. Okay. One more thing now. Now suppose I will call a function module. Okay. I will call a function module. Okay. So Rujuta, see, when you are using an inline declaration in a calling program, so basically you are passing it as a parameter, right? So when you are passing it as a parameter, if you have the proper type compatibility, it will work. That you need to ensure. So when I am talking about cannot be used in a subroutine, I want to make you understand that suppose if you would have declared a variable within a subroutine, you cannot try to use it anywhere across just like that. It will not work. Understood the point? Then you need to make use of a global variable, not the local variable, because it's kind of a local declaration within that context. Okay, now tell me one thing. So I will call a function module. Okay, so suppose data lv underscore matner, anything, material number. I will give a random material number. Okay, I will give a random material number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any random number, dummy number. Okay, fine. Now, so call function, right? And I want to specify the function module name. So which one? I have already opened ZFM fetch plant detail. Okay. Or suppose I want to add leading zeros to it. Forget about this. I want to add leading zeros to it. I will, so what FM I'll use, call the exit FM conversion exit alpha input. Okay. So here see the specified, the beauty part of it. So conversion exit alpha input, just if you specify this much, and if you see here, you can go and search for the same, or in case if you want, you can type the same as well. So conversion exit alpha input, put your cursor here and shift and enter, and automatically the pattern which you used to do through pattern in your SAP GUI, the code completion will be done automatically as per the template which is there in the system. Got the point, guys? Shift and enter for any pattern completion that you want to do, whether for a class, whether for a method, or sorry, whether for a function module, anything. Now here, when I pass LV underscore matner, okay, and if I want to get the output of the same in using an inline declaration data LV underscore output, can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do that? No, I cannot do that. The inline declaration as of now is not possible in a function module. Restriction number 2. The inline declaration which you are using as of now is not applicable for a function module call. Restriction number 2. Earlier I talked about the restriction of the the local aspect of it, and the restriction number 2 is the for a function module call. Is it clear, guys? Okay. One more question to each and everyone. So when you specify inline declaration, will it always work? So for a class method it works, okay. So for a class method your inline declaration works, but it doesn't work for your function module call. So inline declaration not applicable for FM call, okay. But for a class method it works. Now point number 2, that is the question that I was asking was, for a class method call, if I use inline declaration, do you think that you can get any kind of issues? Do you think that you can get any kind of issues if you are using inline declaration as a part of the classes and methods? Oops. Will you get any kind of issue? Prakash, Rajesh, Rujuta, Anand, Vikram, anyone? Yes, Ankush. Bang on, and you are perfect. We may get type compatibility issue. So see here, I just created a scenario and I have mentioned it here. So I have used inline declaration here, but while trying to pass it as a parameter here, as a part of the exporting parameter to the class, it is actually coming as it is not type compatible. So restriction number 3, local perspective. Second, in a function module, inline declaration is not applicable, and in a class sometimes you may get this type compatibility issues. These are the restrictions also which you need to keep in mind. Remember I talked about yesterday, it's very easy to use, but you also need to understand the restrictions, right? Rajesh, you remember the statement I told? It's very easy to use, but you also need to understand the restrictions, because when you understand the restrictions, then you understand where not to use and where what to use. Fine. Any doubts up to this point? Any doubts up to this point? Perfect. Let's move on to the next operator, that is the CONV operator. So when I talk about the CONV operator, basically the basic definition is that it is used for converting the value from one data type and to the specified to the other data type, which is actually specified here. But the question is, will you always specify the data type here? No, because it depends on the left hand side and on the right hand side. What do I say is that this is basically a constructor operator. So we will be understanding a lot of constructor operators. So CONV is like one of them, which is actually a constructor operator and is mostly used in the constructor expressions within the syntax as I've specified. So what you do is actually on the left hand side, it may be anything. It may be a function module kind of a parameter, or it may be a class a parameter, or it can be an expression. The operand can be anything on this left hand side. On the right hand side, you specify the operator, which is actually one of the constructor operators called CONV, and the type. Now this type can either be the explicit name of a data type, or you can specify hash as well. And now the important thing is that when the parenthesis comes into picture, a space has to be maintained before the close and after the start of the parenthesis. So let's go to the point. Now if you see, you would have seen a common scenario. So suppose data LV underscore matner, okay, and in data LV underscore matner, what we will do is that we will pass any material number. So for the material number, let's go to the Mara table. Let me execute F8 and let us pick up any of the data. So let us pick this data. Okay, so on the screen, as you know that it is restricted to 18, so 19. Okay, fine. So now Control and E, and let us go back to our report. Fine. So data LV underscore Matner equals to, suppose if I specify only this, and I will take the value from there. And I'll go to here. This is the problem of copying from there. Not an issue. Okay. Now, what is the function module that we have? I have created a Z function module where actually if you pass the material number, it will give you the plant detail. Okay, fine. So here data LV underscore plant type WERKS underscore D. Okay. Now here call function. So ZFM underscore fetch, and now ZFM fetch, the name is plant detail. So ZFM fetch plant detail, here shift and enter, and once you click on shift and enter, automatically the pattern will be helping you to do the code completion, right? And also one more thing, if you see here, whenever you create any errors in this, like, so suppose if I uncomment the same here, so see here, whenever you have errors, suppose you are unable to understand what are the errors in your program, okay, just go here, click here, it will navigate to the error. Just go here, click here, the cursor will automatically come to the error aspect. Can you see? One more very important beautiful feature, click here, it goes and highlights where the error is, and then you can fix the same. Okay, now I am underscore Matner, I will specify LV underscore Matner here, and I will specify LV underscore plant. Okay, fine. So guys, now tell me one thing. Do you find any issue? Do you find any issue? Anand, do you find any issue in this code? Let me unmute you. Anand, can you unmute and tell me, do you find any issue in this code? Anand, are you there? So Rajesh says no, Rujuta says okay. So anyone who wants to volunteer? Do you find any issue in this code? LV plant is a single variable. Yeah, that is in the logic also I have fetched a single plant only. So many of you say there is, okay, Anand says no is your answer. Okay, fine, not an issue. Ankush says the 0000, okay. Fine, let me, if I execute this one, don't you think I will get a dump? And why do you get a dump? Do you know that? Why do you get a dump? Do you know that? The material number is the cause for it. The root cause for getting the dump is the material number. And if you see here, when you are calling the function module, just here control and space, I am Matner. What is the type? What is the type? Matner, right? What is the type of LV Matner? What is the type of LV Matner? Char, right? So now the savior which actually comes very handy is that Earlier what you would have done, Rajesh, earlier what you would have done, Anand, what you would have done, you would have again used another helper variable and then assigned this to that, right Rajesh? Right Rujuta? You would have used a helper variable and assigned this value to that value. But if I say you don't need to do that because you use conv, you use Matner and you give a space and you give a space and done. And done. And now if I execute and now if I specify the plant value, so write lv underscore plant and if I print the same, okay, and if I activate the same, once it is activated and if I click on F8, do you think any more dump will come? No dump will come because the conv actually converts it at the runtime, and that's the best part of the conv operator. This will come very handy, guys. This will come very handy. In any ABAP expression, you can try to use it to convert to some other type. When we will actually try clubbing, so we are today starting with the basics, right? I will go on making it complicated. I will club each and every expressions and all. Then you will understand how beautiful it becomes to actually help you out. So guys, did you understand how to use this conv operator? Now one more case. Wait, hold on. So now data txt, okay, txt1 suppose, okay. Matner is which Matner? Matner is the data type. Vikram, Matner is the data type. So you can use a data element, you can use a char 18, any data type which you want. So this depends on you, any data type. Okay, one more thing, if I would have given a hash here, sometimes if you give a hash, ensure that it is able to derive from the left hand side. If it is not able to derive, remember that you need to always specify the data type. This is a very understandable point which you need to understand, a very fundamental point, that hash you only need to use when it is able to derive at the runtime. If it is not able to derive by the compiler, then you need to specify the data type, which can be a data element or which can be any char 18 or any data element or any type that you want to specify. Got the point? Okay, now if you see here, if I give a space here, okay, I'll not specify anything, and data txt2, and see the difference what I am doing. Observe carefully the two different operators, okay. Now if txt1 equals to txt2 and else if and end if, okay. So here write the if block was executed, and I'll use the same here, I'll specify the same here, and the else if block, and I'll specify one more condition here. See the beauty of the usage, as I was telling the conv operator. Else if txt1 equals to use a conv operator, okay, and then specify the type as ABAP underscore bool and give a space, automatically it will come txt2. Fine. Now guys tell me, I will not tell anything. You guys tell me which block will get executed. Which block will get executed? Is it this statement will come as an output, or this statement will come as an output? And why? And why? Ankush, if you say this, I will unmute you. So let's have a discussion, 1 minute. So Ankush, can you unmute and tell me why this and not why this?
It will convert that char type to boolean type.
So it is converting the char type to boolean type. Okay. Before you answer that, tell me one thing. This is text1 equals to this and text2 equals to this. What are the types of text1 and text2?
I think first one is char.
And the second one, is it not char?
Yeah, both are char.
So then why else block?
No, then my answer is first one is as a if block.
Confused, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Second one is a special character. Second one is not a char, it's a different character, right?
No, that is my question. No, I am expecting.
It's a special character. It's not a character actually. TXT2 is not a character.
What will be the type of TXT2?
Yeah, that I don't know, but TXT2 is not a character. Yeah, it's a space. Character is like between that's a different symbols, right?
Okay. So Rujuta, what is your answer? You are telling if block will be executed. So Rujuta, you want to give a try. What will be the type of this? Anupam, you want to give a try. Prakash, you want to give a try. What will be the type of this?
I feel both will be char 1.
So both will be char type, okay?
Probably Boolean.
So see, Boolean is also a char type only, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ratnakar, Boolean is also a char type, right? X or blank, right? True or false, right? Okay, I'll unveil the mystery, not an issue. But thanks for trying. I'll put a breakpoint also, and let me activate the code. Now you will see one more important type which actually comes well. So let me put a breakpoint and let me execute. So one important point is that this text one, carefully focus here. I will double click, okay? And I will double click on text 2 also. Can you see the difference? Guys, can you see the difference? I have not even executed. The compiler has derived the type, don't worry. It's not like that I will have to execute. The compiler will derive the type. I have not even pressed F5 or anything. One is a C string. I have used the quotes below the tilde operator, that is on the left side of your exclamation mark. And here I have used single quotes which is of char type. Okay. Now that I have used the same, so if case number one, so here it's blank, right? One is C string, one is C. What will happen? Are both of them same? I have not specified any value here. Will it go to this block or will it go to this block? If I do F5, it will automatically come to this block because it is C string and one is C. Now what happens here, it will match because I am again converting text2 to char type on the runtime, on the fly, and this is the beauty of CONV operator. And if you see here, now it will go here, and if you do F8, the output will be printed. But now let me ask one more question to everyone. Suppose if I specify ABC here and if I specify ABC here, what will be the output now? What will be the output now? Anyone? What will be the output now? So Rujuta says if block. Anyone else has got any other answers? So Lakshmi says else if block. So first let me execute this. So if we execute, actually it is the if block will be executed because initially when I had not specified any value, so then it was comparing the type as well. But if you see here, when I am specifying a value, irrespective of whether it is C string type or whether it is a char type, it will match. It will match. And since it matches, this block gets executed and you get this output. Understood the difference? And how you can make on using CONV operator anywhere and anywhere you feel. So now if you see here in this expression, I have used the CONV operator on the fly. It's not a bug, Anand. When you actually specify this, it becomes a C string. I will show you in when we will do concat also. It will not execute because when you are not giving any value, it will not execute. So see, I have executed this one, and now if I do F8, see, if I don't give any space, understand the difference. If I have given a space, you forgot that. See, I've given a space. There is a difference between giving a space and nothing. See, this is blank. That was char 1. If I do it like this, this block will be executed. If I specify any value, this block will be executed. But if you give a space like this, where I am giving a space purposely, where the length is 1, this block gets executed. Understand that I was not giving a space. If I don't give a space, it remains, the behavior remains the same if I specify any value which are both are identical. Now you got understood, Anand, Madhu. Got the point, guys? Okay. Okay. Now let's move on to the new operator. So new operator, actually it's also a constructor operator, but it has got dual behavior. Why do I say dual behavior is that we will understand one behavior today. So actually when you are talking about the new operator, it basically does two tasks for you. So one is that it will create an instance of a class. Okay. So when creating the instance of a class, we use, this is the syntax, new space class name open bracket close bracket. Okay. And it also creates an anonymous data object as well by specifying, like how we were specifying convert, conv, data type, and then any value that you are trying to pass. Similarly, it will create a data object for you as well, which we will cover in the next session. But today we will now focus on the creation of the instance of a class. So now in the new operator, while talking about the creation of the instance of a class, what we actually do is that, so suppose if I have to call this class, so let me close something, let me close Mara. So suppose this class, okay, I have to call this class and this method that is return the conversion gross value of it. So what it does is actually, if I pass the parameter as in INR as the currency and any particular date, as in suppose today's date, it will give me the unconverted and the converted data both. Okay, it will give me the both the unconverted and the converted currency data both. Okay, so now what I will do is I will go to my report. So earlier what we used to do, so data LR underscore data, you used to write type reference to write to the class name, right? So the class name is ZSCR27 underscore AMDP underscore CL. And after mentioning this, you used to specify the statement as create object LR underscore data, right? And after that, if suppose if it's a static or an instance method, so since it's an instance method, I will use, where did it go? Yeah, so LR underscore data, and here also if you see control and space, how it actually helps you. So how it actually helps you, it is showing you the method, shift and enter, and automatically your entire code comes here. So here if I specify, and here I will specify the currency as INR, suppose, the date as Psi datum, as in the today's date, and here you can use inline declaration. See here, so LT unconverted data and data LT converted data. Okay, fine. Now if you see here, instead of doing this, what you can do is, this was the conventional approach, right? What you can do is, so LR underscore data equals to new, remember new, then the class name, so ZSCR27 underscore AMDP underscore CL, and what did I say? Put the braces, sorry, the parenthesis, and done. So LR underscore data equals to new ZSCR27 AMDP underscore CL. But one more catch is there. If you just mention it like this, will it work? Or what is that I have made the mistake? Anand, Rujuta? Yes, data is required. So it's data, LR underscore data equals to the new operator and then the class name and then this. But tell me one thing, guys, tell me one thing. Will you always be able to use this new operator for creating the instance of a class? Or will there be some scenarios also where this will fail? Anyone? Rajesh, Anand, Rujuta, anyone? Vikram, Prakash? Will you always be able to use this new operator to create the instance of a class, or will there be some instances where you cannot use it? Which one? Can anyone? Rujuta, you want to give a try? So if globally needed, why we cannot use it? Rajesh, why we cannot use it globally? If you write this globally, data gr underscore data equals to new, you keep on using gr underscore data. Okay, Rajesh, you said you can use it. So Ratnakar says, suppose if your class is having static constructor, how will we be the syntax? So if you are having static constructor, you pass the parameter. So suppose if it is any, suppose if in the object creation, if you want to pass a parameter, you need to pass the parameter during the object creation. And suppose if it is a constructor, anyways, when you are trying to create the instance of a class, the constructor will be initiated. Now my question is, suppose if it is a singleton class, Rajesh and everyone, suppose if it is a singleton class, can you use this? Suppose if it is a singleton class and it needs to be called again and again as in the object, can you use it, Rujuta? Can you use this new operator, Rajesh? Can you use this new operator, Vikram? No, right? Because in a singleton class we only have one instance of the same. You only have to use one instance of the same, right? Because in the constructor the class instance gets created, right, Vikram? Yes or no? So if multiple times you are trying to call, it goes against the philosophy of singleton class. Mostly nobody will tell you these points, but understand that is the reason we are focusing on each and every point in depth, right? As I told, again I'll repeat, you cannot go and blindly keep on using. You need to understand where to use and where not to use. Understood the point? Now I will just give you a glimpse of one thing which I was actually talking about, that it creates a anonymous data reference object. So if you see, can I write data and suppose data reference, and can I write data reference type reference to data? Okay, fine. And if I write data reference equals to new, the data type, and any value if I pass, suppose if I pass any value, integer, the value if I pass is new 55. Don't you think this will actually point to this like the field symbol that we do? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Do you want to see the behavior of this in the debugger? Do you want to see the behavior of this in the debugger? Okay, let me put a breakpoint here. So if I do F8, so see here, this is data reference, okay, right? So if I double click on this till now, as of now this is initial, this has not been dereferenced, right? This has not been dereferenced, right? And if I now do F5, can you see the value, and actually it is referring to the type I. It is like your field symbol, a memory pointer, dereferenced, and the value is 55. So now did you understand the two aspects that I told? One is to create the instance of a class. One is to create the instance of a class. Another is to create an anonymous data reference object. Data reference object. Data reference object. If you want to create any data reference object which you want to change without actually specifying with the help of the concept of the field symbol and the memory allocation, you can go with this concept and use the new operator to make use of the same. Guys, did you get the point? How to make use of the new operator with respect to the data reference and changing any values, or using the concept of the field reference and the memory allocation? Is it clear? And how it comes handy? So Rujuta, see here, sometimes while handling with the dynamic programming, you need to create a field symbol or the memory allocation and dereference and refer to the same by passing. So assign component of, or again assign this to another field symbol, right? Where I will derefer the, like once you have dereference, again you can pass it to any another field symbol or memory allocation. In those use cases, or suppose if you are pointing to the dereference value and if you want to change the same, if I make any changes, so suppose if there was any variable, don't you think the variable will be also changed automatically, Rujuta? How you handle in field symbol? In the same way, dereferencing and making use of the memory allocation. Understood, Rujuta? Okay, simply understand, when you use field symbol, so do you write an explicit modify statement or anything? So suppose understand, I would have created an internal table with the help of the new operator, right? Here I have just shown you a value. Don't worry, in the next class I will show you the creation of the internal tables also. Now in the internal table, if I want to change the value and if I use the data reference object for the same, will you exclusively go and modify? Or if I just use the data reference to change, will it not change to the original data object? What do you say, Rujuta? Rujuta, yes or no? So if you are not needing modify for field symbol, because actually you are using the concept of memory allocation and pointers, right? Similarly, here also I am using the same concept of data reference and pointers only. So it is one more way to actually allocate memory by using data reference, which is actually being done by your new operator. Understood the point? So if you would have used field symbol, here also you would have got no dereferencing the same. Assign component of the structure into another field symbol, then again assign. We will understand that while doing dynamic ABAP programming. The same I have actually touching the point with the help of the new operator. Now did you get the point, Rujuta? So this is the way which I was actually talking about terminate. You can actually terminate. So this is the jump to line, shift and F12. You can jump to line. So I'll do F8 and come out of the debugger. Guys, tell me one thing. So do you see, as on you keep on writing the lines of code, don't you think you have to scroll up and down also? Don't you think you have to scroll up and down also? Suppose while writing the lines of code, you have written one piece of block of code here which you actually want to refer to and write some lines of code here. Right? We normally do that, right? We normally do that, right? Yes or no? What do you say, guys? We normally do that, right? We keep on scrolling up and down to see some, refer to some lines of code, and again we go and again write the lines of code. And suppose if I don't do that, and if I do this, I refer something here and I write something here. Can I do this? Isn't it handy? I am referring this piece of code from line number 25 to 33 and I am writing some lines of code here. See here, I have splitted the same editor, same ABAP source code editor into two vertical sections. Sorry, into two horizontal sections. Can you see this? Don't you want to know how did I do that? How it gets splitted. So see, the shortcut is Control, Shift and so Control and underscore actually. So either you press Control, Shift and minus or Control and underscore. And if you don't remember the shortcut, go to Window, go to Editor, toggle split editor horizontal or vertical. Normally you will not need the vertical one. So you will need the horizontal editor, vertical or horizontal. See this one. So I'll specify the same here, don't worry. Control plus underscore. So actually you can write Control plus Shift plus minus, so that you remember that shift and minus represents an underscore. Understood, guys? No, Rujuta, not clone. See here, Control and underscore. If you Control and underscore, it will split up into two horizontal parts. And similarly, if you do Control and curly braces, it will split up into two vertical parts. See this. You can do like this also. You can write the lines of code also. See this. See this. And this is the same screen. While doing the version comparison, it will come like this. It will come split up into two vertical sections. You can compare these lines of code. It will automatically come like this. Guys, did you get the point? How to do that? Should we have 2-3 minutes break? Let's have 2-3 minutes break. Let's connect again back at 9:02. Guys, can we start? Can we proceed now? Okay, thank you. Okay, one more important thing is that you have been using, like, as on when we keep on coding, we keep on using a lot of variables, right? So if you just want to have an outline of what all the variables are, if you click on this button, it will show you all the variables which you have been using till now. Also, one more thing is that this is actually called a breadcrumb, because here also, if you see, you will be able to see all these things. So in case if you want to hide the same, so you need to use Shift and Alt and B. Shift and Alt and B will hide the same. Shift and Alt and B will actually again unhide the same. This is called your breadcrumb. Okay, a very small information, Shift and Alt and B. Okay, now let's proceed forward with the concatenation operator. So with the concatenation operator, basically we will be using, first let me start off with the concatenation operator. So for the concatenation operator, so earlier what you used to do, you used to use the concat statements, right? So let me take a scenario and let us start. Yeah, so data LV underscore text 1 hello, okay, data LV underscore text 2 and data LV underscore text 3, and this I will specify as welcome to day 2. Okay, fine. Now suppose if I have to concatenate, what do? We used to use the statement concatenate LV underscore text 1, right? LV underscore text 2, right? Into data. So suppose LV underscore final text, and we used to write separated by space, right? If I want to give a space, right? And after this, suppose if I want to concatenate, what do you say, a period at the end here. So what will you do? Concatenate LV underscore final text and a period within quotes and into LV underscore final text, right? Okay, and now after that what I can do is I will concatenate this LV final text with your LV text 3. So concatenate LV text 3 into LV final text, right? And then write so what will be the output that you will get? So if I execute the same now, if I execute the same now, and if I click on F8, So hello participants, welcome to day 2, right? So, but tell me one thing, how many concatenate statements I had to write for this? 1, 2, 3, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? And if I have to do the same thing in a single line, how do I do that? So one way is that data LV underscore final text 1 equals to, now what we will do is use the pipe operator, okay? Use the pipe operator. Then inside the pipe operator, if you have to use a variable, so use curly braces and then so use LV underscore text 1, okay? And if you want to concatenate the same, double ampersand, okay? And after that, suppose then LV underscore text 2, okay? Then, so I will not give LV underscore text 2, I will give here participant suppose, because I want to show you that case also if I want to give a text symbol or a hard-coded text here. And ampersand and LV underscore text 3, okay? And now write LV underscore final underscore text 1. Guys, can you tell me what will be the output here? What will be the output of this one? So the output of this one will be, hello participants, welcome to day 2, but without any space, right? Is there no audio? Oscar, I think maybe you just try to connect once. Just click on the call button if you are not able to hear. Okay, fine. Can you see here? So this will be without any space, right? So now, Prakash, you tell me, if I have to incorporate a space, what do I do here? If I have to incorporate a space between this and this, what do I do here? Do I do like this? And will it work? Prakash, yes or no? Rujuta, yes or no? Rajesh, yes or no? Vikram, yes or no? Will it work? Will I get my desired output? Same like this? Yes or no? So Prakash and Kiran and everyone says yes, right? Anyone who says no, so better than you saying no, let me show you the output. It will actually not work. Point number 1, it will actually not work. And your savior is, just a few minutes back, I showed you one operator. I showed you something, right? Now see the magic here. If I use this operator below the tilde operator, and if I activate the code, and if I execute now, can you see the magic, guys? Magic. The single quotes didn't work. This operator worked. Point to be noted. Okay. One more point. Can I use a single ampersand instead of a double ampersand? Can I use a single ampersand instead of a double ampersand? It starts throwing an error. You cannot use. Okay? You cannot use, it says, right? You cannot use, it says, right? But if I would have written the same thing in this format, that is LV underscore text 1, if I'd have, so you are telling space command can be used. You want to use a space here. So you want to use like this, Rujuta? Or what? How do you want to use? How do you want to give space? You want to give a space command? You are talking about this, right? This space will obviously work because this is giving a space. But if I don't want to use the word space, so if you want to use the word space, can you see what is the issue? This space, even if you put or if you put double quotes, it will not work. Understood the point, Rujuta? So point number 1 is space keyword or this will not work. Fine, point number 1. Now coming about the double ampersand or a single ampersand, if I make a twist here, observe the twist carefully. Observe the twist carefully. What will I do now? I will make it here like this. Okay. And after this, what will I do is, I will put a single ampersand. Okay. And after this, what will I do is, I will put a, like this, 2 pipe operator in a space. Again, I will put a single pipe operator. Again, I will put a pipe operator. And after this, again, I will put a pipe operator. Oh my God, just a second. But inside the pipe operator, I will remove the quotes from here. Okay. And here again, I will remove a single pipe operator. I will put a pipe operator and I will put a curly braces. I'll remove this and now done. So see the change that I have done. All the variables which are dynamic put inside a single pipe operator and single curly braces and a single pipe operator. Here a pipe operator with space, a single pipe operator. Here I am not giving any quotes. Suppose if I give quotes here and see this, and now let me, so LV underscore final underscore text 2. Okay. And now see the difference. If I execute this now, can you see this? Hello participants, welcome to day 2. Hello participants, welcome to day 2. So one more thing that I need to do is I will put a slash yeah. Now let me show you. Yeah. So can you see what has happened? Here a quotes came, okay, because I had not removed the quotes. So actually you don't need to remove, you need to put the quotes here. These quotes will not be applied here. Now activate the code. Now if you see the difference, can you see the same behavior in the 3 cases? Can you see the same behavior in the 3 cases? Can you see the same behavior in the 3 cases? Yes or no, guys? And if you see here, if instead of this, so is it necessary that I have to give a single pipe of a single ampersand only? Is it a necessity that I have to give a single ampersand only? If I give like this, if I give like this, and slash LV underscore final text 3 and I activate the same, and if I execute the output, can you see like this? So point number 1 is that if you are using everything inside a single pipe operator, if you are using everything inside a single pipe operator, your single ampersand will not work for concatenation. Your single ampersand will not work for concatenation. Remember that. Your single ampersand will not work for concatenation. But if you are separating it with the separate pipe operators, you can either use a single ampersand or you can use a double ampersand. Got the point, guys? So I'll specify this point here. So while using pipe operator for concatenation, remember that so let me put two blocks. So in one block, remember that use only double ampersand if you intend to put everything inside a single pipe operator. Okay, and just a second, yeah. And one more thing is that you can use either this or this if you plan not to put everything inside a single pipe operator. Now it depends on you which one you want to proceed with, whether you want to put everything inside a single pipe operator, as in you want to proceed with that for putting everything inside a single pipe operator, or you want to put in a separate pipe operators. Got the point, guys? The call is up to you whether you want to proceed with this kind of a syntax for concatenation or whether you want to proceed with this or this kind. Also remember one thing is that in this kind of a syntax, one easier way out is that if you just give space between these two, it will be a space. I'll show you that also. If you don't give space here and if I activate, okay, if I don't give space here and if I activate and if I execute, you will see that that will not be space between these two words. So if you want to give a space in a pipe operator, you just need to give a space between the two pipe operators, okay? And also one more thing, if inside a pipe operator you are giving any kind of a constant value, as in text literal, you do not need to give any quotes. But yes, if you are using it inside a single pipe operator, you need to give quotes for a text literal as well. Also one more point is that if you are using this, then space or this will not work. You need to make use of this operator for putting a space. Are all these points clear, guys? Up to this point, any doubts? Yeah, it's better to use, but see, I showed you both the variants. Now if you feel that you don't want to use 2 ampersand, you want to use a single ampersand, also you can proceed with that. So that at least, suppose if in an interviewer, if someone gives you this and if he or she asks you and tells that is it correct or is it right or is it wrong, you should not tell that it's not correct, right? So that is why you should be aware that both the variants are available. It's up to you which one you want to use. Got the point, Madhu? Okay, now guys tell me one thing. when we used to concatenate, suppose we have specified the length as well, okay? We have specified the length as well. So when we are concatenating with respect to your old syntax, so when you concatenate with respect to your old syntax and you have specified the length as well, so your size sub rc actually comes into applicable. Size sub rc, you can check whether it is actually correct or not. That means what I actually want to say is that when you are concatenating this and you have specified a length for this, that you want to specify the length as 10 or something, and then you want to check whether the concatenation was proper or not, that you can check through size sub rc. But in case of this new syntax, there will be no size sub rc applicable for it. So the problem will be, even if the length is specified, you don't know whether the proper concatenation happened or not, right? So example, if you see here, I've specified the length as 5, but these both are more than length. So this is 10, this is 15, right? So if I concatenate 10 and 15 and if I put it into a length of 5, do you think that this entire concatenation will happen and the output will come? No, right? And if I am checking size sub rc, whether that this concatenation has happened properly and as per the required length which I have specified as a part of the output, you will not be able to distinguish the same, right? Yes or no? But if the same thing you are trying to do it from the old syntax, as in using the concatenate statement, then you can use this feature of size sub rc. Normally we don't do that, but as a kind of information, you should know that there is no applicability of the written code size sub rc as in the system field with respect to the pipe operator and the ampersand. But if you're using the concat operator, you can make use of the same. Guys, is this point clear? Okay, one more use case is that normally for conversion exit alpha input, what do you do, guys? We were using the function module, right? Conversion exit alpha input to add the leading zeros to it or add to remove the leading zeros, right? Yes or no? We were using conversion alpha input or conversion exit alpha input to add the leading zeros or to remove the leading zeros, right? But if I say that you don't need to use that, so let me show you a scenario. So data example here only. I think I've written the code there. Yes. So this is one scenario, right? And now if I write here, so data LV underscore final matner, and make use of the pipe operator, okay? Make use of the curly braces within the pipe operator. Remember that you need to put a space after the start and before the end. And after that, suppose if I uncomment the same, and here if I specify LV underscore matner, alpha equals to in and width equals to 10. Just mention this one and done. Alpha equals to in and width equals to 10. No more that you need to do this. Remember that this week's assignment will contain a lot of questions on this, where you will get used to how to use the string expressions to actually write these lines of code into a single line of code. Don't you think it's a very handy feature rather than using all this call function and all, where you can manipulate as a part of the string expressions only? And if you take the output of the same, you will find that you will be getting this with the leading zeros. And if you want to remove the leading zeros, it is just alpha equals to out. That's it, and all the leading zeros will be removed. And why did I specify the width as 10? Because if suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the 5 characters, so suppose if I show you the output now, so let me change this LV Matner 1 and LV Matner 1, yeah. So write LV underscore final underscore Matner and done. So the type will be of type string, because it's a string expression which I'm actually writing. Amol, the type will be of type string. And you asked me a question regarding the type compatibility. You already have the answer. You already have the answer. Can't you do it now? Can't you do it now? Can't you do it now? So example, CONV Matner and this and done. Isn't it fun coding now, Amol? Everything can be put in a single line, Amol. Rajesh and Prakash, do you really like it now? This is what I was telling. We will go deep dive as we proceed further. Everything comes in a single line, Rujuta. Everything. You will see me clubbing everything into a single line. Why I am breaking it now? Because when I club it, then you don't come and say me that how this is possible. You keep on putting, you keep on chaining, everything comes in a single line. Can you see the fun, Amol? So you asked me about type compatibility, I gave you the answer. Someone asked me about conversion exit alpha input, I gave you the answer. I club it and put it in a single one, and LV underscore final underscore Matner. And now can you see the type as Matner? And Amol, now are you happy? And is it fun or not? So in this way, you can make use of string expression, embed it with something else, and you can read something else. Okay, now tell me one thing. So many lines of code that we wrote, right? Sometimes what happens is after finishing the entire development, we do keep on doing the code cleanup as in removing the unused variables, right? And it's a headache that we actually practice at the end of the task, right? Yes or no, Vikram? Yes or no, Rajesh? Yes or no, Kiran? What do you say, Madhu? So, a lot of unused variables we keep on using. So suppose I'll specify one more variable, lvvar2 type string, lvvar4 type I, and done, right? So we keep on cleaning each and every one. And now if I say that you select this and you click on Alt and U and gone, all the variables are gone. Magic, 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 magic. Alt Shift and U, sorry. So again, select anything. Suppose if you want to delete everything, you just select Alt and U and all will be gone. All will be gone. All will be gone. And the one which you want to select, so it will be like Alt, Shift and U, and then only that will be gone. Understood, guys? How to remove? And if you don't remember the shortcut, see here. Select anyone which you want to specify, and if you want to delete, and select one, delete the unused variables, the selection one, Alt, Shift and U, the Alt will be got deleted. Can you see? And if you don't want to select anything, and obviously you want to do it at one step, delete all the unused variables at once, this will be Alt and U. So Alt and U is the shortcut for deleting everything. Guys, isn't it handy? So your entire code cleanup happens at one click. Okay, one more thing. Just tell me one thing. This is your transport organizer, right? Which we were focusing yesterday, right? Now suppose by mistake, if you close it, how do you get it back? Because transport organizer is one thing which you will always keep on needing it, right? Which you will keep on using it, right? How do you get it back? Or if you delete any of this thing, if you close any of this thing, how do you get it back? So to get it back, window, show view, and click on other. In case if you are not able to see, expand this ABAP thing. If you ABAP, scroll down, whatever you would have closed, click on the same, open, and once you open, again it will come back here. Okay, this is a long way, right? This is a long way to do the same. In case if I close the same, any other shortcut? So select on Control and F3, or click on this one, Control and 3. Control and 3, and select on this transport organizer. You just specify here. You just specify whatever you want to search here. This is the quick access tool. So whatever you search here, you just specify it there. So again I'll show you Control and 3, or suppose ABAP properties. Anything you want to see, or formatter. Anything you want to see the properties, or anything you want to see, or the transport organizer, as I was saying. Click on this and your transport organizer will open. So actually this is a very quick access, and actually it helps is to find anything that you want to search in this tool editor development tool. If by coincidentally if you close it or anything, you can easily search for the same. Okay, one quick question. So Prakash, suppose think that you are stuck in this piece of lines of code and you need the help of Rajesh. What will you do, Prakash? How will you take help of Rajesh? And suppose if he is in a meeting, he told you just you ping me something and I will take care of that. Prakash, what will you do? Will you ping him the program name? Will you ping the program name to Rajesh? And if I say that, so and again you need to specify him the line numbers, right? That Rajesh, I am stuck up in line number 25 to 28, please check on the same, right? Yes or no, Prakash? But if I say that you don't need to do that, if you select this and go to your source code, go to your navigate, click on share link, your ADT link, and copy link to clipboard or email the link as you want. Copy the link to clipboard, okay? And now let me close this. Fine, I closed it, okay? Now go to navigate, now click on open ADT link, automatically the one which you have actually copied on the clipboard, and now can you see the magic, Prakash? Do you need to specify to Rajesh that you please check on line number 25 to 28? And if Rajesh knows that you would have already highlighted the line at where you were stuck up, can't he go and check the same? So this is an important feature which you can use to share and open the same at that particular step only. So suppose if someone is stuck on this piece of lines of code, click on navigate, click on share link, click on this one, click on copy link to clipboard, and let me close this and click on navigate, navigate, click on open ADT link, and you do this. And yes, the funniest part of it, you do not need to scroll down as well. Automatically it comes here wherever the error is. And if you want to bring it here, drag and drop, and this comes here. And someone, if if you are interested in changing the appearance of the same, if you want to make it a dark theme, go to window, go to preferences, go to general, go to appearance, go to the appearance. If you go to the appearance, can you see the theme here? You make it a dark theme and play around. You just need to make it a dark theme and restart your system and it will be done. Understood the point, guys? So Amol, why do you want to use separated by expression in the new syntax? Why you are using separated by expression? Because you want to separate by space or something, right? Here you are already, that space and all is taken care of by this. Here you will not get that separated by. Example, if you see here, if I specify like this, if you have any doubt, you just do control and space. And if you want to use separated by, it will show you whether actually it is really applicable for this or not. Understood? It is not applicable, Amal. Got the point? And how to cross check the same? You keep on concatenation. Here there is no limit. You want to concatenate 5 variables, you keep on concatenating. You keep on concatenating, concatenating the text elements. You keep on concatenating any text literal. You keep on concatenating any variable. Whatever you want to concatenate, you keep on concatenating. And here the best part is that within this you can specify string expression also. Don't worry, our questions are ready for you in the assignment. Once you work on it, you will understand how actually what all up to complexities you can keep on concatenating and what all different expressions also you can put inside concatenation. Getting the point, Amol? Once you work on those assignment, you will understand what all various other things also you can do with concatenation. Don't worry, assignments will be there to make you much more ready with respect to practical usage. You want to see one more feature, or should we wind up for today? Or let me show you one more feature. How will you trigger a debugger without a breakpoint or a watch point, Anand? And Anand, watch point will come once you trigger a breakpoint, right? How will you trigger the debugger perspective without a breakpoint? Yes, you can trigger. You add a static breakpoint rather than a dynamic breakpoint. You add the word keyword breakpoint, then you can trigger. Got the point, Anand? See, here you do not have, if you want to do through SAP GUI, then you have to go to SAP GUI. This is your completely different editor perspective which you are using. So Anand, you need to understand that difference. Okay, one more last important fun that I will show you before we wind up. And one important fun, see here, class LCL underscore class. You write the keyword definition and end class and done, right? I have not given the implementation of the same, still now no error, okay? Now here public section, and inside the public section, let me use a keyword data var1 type string, okay? Fine, and let me use a instance method, so methods and meth1, okay? Fine. Now you see that an error keeps on coming, right? That this class, obviously when you're creating a class, it needs to have an implementation of the same with respect to the method, right? Yes or no, guys? Right? You need to have an implementation of the same. So when I talk about having an implementation of the same, I need to again write the code class, the class name and the implementation. Do I really need to do that? No, I don't need to do that. Can you see here, create implementation, double click, single click, and the implementation done. Your method created and you are ready to write the logic and your job is done. And isn't it very simple, Rajesh? And I hope you like this feature. Just click, and your class done, your implementation done, and your code done. That's it. This is ADT. Welcome to ADT, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Now, before we again meet up next week for day 3 to yet another explore further more features, further more modern ABAP new syntaxes. Fine then. We'll wind up for today. So I hope you had an interesting session where we explored a lot of tips and tricks, and we started off with the modern ABAP new syntaxes, understood each and everything in basic, in depth, understood the restrictions and how to proceed forward. Okay. So within 2 to 3 hours, you'll be getting the training link recording. It will be updated on the training link. Yeah, Rajesh. What is the question? Yeah, Rajesh, you can unmute and ask me.
Yeah, hey, hi. No, what happened,
Hi.
I started creating the program in ADT, and when I tried to
I
create a
understood.
program,
I think my team told me. So the thing is that when you are creating a program, understand that you need to use source code library. If you use something else, so I'll show you what happens. So suppose if I expand this and if you click on new, I think our team would have also given you a solution for that. Did you try that out?
Yeah, I tried
If
it,
you
but
see here,
huh.
I understood your point. Yeah. So if you see here, if you just write report, so you will get like this report definition and all those things. Or if you write program, you will get like this source code library above program. So you need to type in this keyword and you need to go to this ABAP program.
Okay.
Got the point?
Yeah, understood now.
Okay. Always see, these are the repository objects which are allowed till now. As on now, these are the ones which are allowed. So if someone wants to understand which are the ABAP repository objects which are allowed in Eclipse, these are the ones which are allowed.
Understood.
Fine then.
Yeah.
We'll again catch up next week. Thank you. I hope you had a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. We'll again catch up next day. Fine.